So hi everyone, thanks for joining the webinar. We're really happy to have with us today Cyril Lowe. Hello Cyril.
Hi.
He's going to take us through a webinar, Building Solutions, part of our series of Build It Right with our Nintex MVPs. So he's got a wealth of technical experience, but let's just move on. And first of all, thank you to everybody who has joined. We do have a couple of things that we'd like to sort of just mention first off. Basic housekeeping rules. We're going to do 45 minutes. We will have the Q&A panel available. Everybody will be muted during the webinar, and we will get a recording out to you of this webinar for your colleagues who may have missed it. And if we do run out of time to answer everybody's questions today, we'll do those in a follow-up email discussion with you afterwards. So just moving on here about our agenda today. The introduction is me, Ashley Evans from Nintex. Then we'll just have a little bit about Linksys, the partner, a long-standing Nintex partner that Cyril has been working for many years. A little bit about Nintex as a product and a platform, and then we'll jump into the meat of the event with some demo and discussion from Cyril himself, and finally wrap up with the Q&A.
Thanks, Ashley. So
Okay.
So I'm Cyril Lowe. Currently, I'm the technical director at Linksys. I was awarded an MVP status in 2021. I have currently, since working with low-code and no-code platforms since 2014. So this is a big passion of mine. You can follow me on LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram for more latest things and going forward. Who is Linksys? Linksys is a specialized process automation software business, solution business. It was established in 2013. Currently, we are Microsoft Gold partners and Nintex Premier partners. We do everything from dashboards, forms, digital signature, document generation, storage, analytics, workflows. We also have .NET skills, custom development skills for JavaScript, CSS, and all the platforms actually. Our team currently is made out of 18 people, developers, project staff, administration included. Currently, we're using 6 strategic partners to make sure we put forward the best solution for our customers. What we do process management, mapping, workflows, forms, document generation, digital signatures, and then analytics, RPA, everything actually that Nintex provides with K2. We also specialize in Microsoft Power Platform and the Microsoft Azure. So this is our contact details. Please follow us on our social networks and On Nintex side, Nintex, the global standard process mapping automation, they are currently leaders in process automation, wired with the fastest and most effective build of no-code process apps across systems. They do billions of workflows every year in department, wider deployments and use cases than any other provider. Currently, they have 200 plus customers in Africa, in different sectors and industries, and 800 plus just in the industry in the Middle East. And like I said, they're serving 10,000 plus customers, which is 50% plus is from the Fortune 500. As you can see, they're covering multiple landscapes, government, retail, energy, entertainment, media, and healthcare. In Africa, especially in South Africa as well, the government sectors financial insurance, mining, and then as well as general businesses. Why Nintex? Well, we have Nintex has help organizations accelerate their digital transformation journey through process management and automation, cost reduction, risk compliance, and increase of productivity is their main focus. Nintex as a platform, well, Nintex is easy to use, it's powerful, and it's complete. Nintex discovers and map business processes with tools and participants. They can design forms for all stakeholders in an office or on the go. So that's with your mobile and normal browser. Nintex workflows to automate all the processes, advanced business processes for people, data, and documents. Nintex RPA, it's more the drive of Nintex, speed, volume by mimicking most human-computer actions. Nintex document generation, so the documents, that's the key data automation quickly and easily, so that document generation. With Nintex Assure Sign and Nintex Sign, powered by Adobe, all e-signatures can also be achieved. And then Nintex Analytics to optimize automation process and gain insight in process intelligence. So this is the list of all our integration points into Nintex itself from all sectors, which can be mapped, managed. And then, of course, all the forms and workflows, automation, document automation, e-signatures, and robotic process automations. So these process automation via operational analytics and Nintex API, all these connectors can then connect to Nintex forms and data for analytics signatures. So we have connectors like SAP, Microsoft Teams, PDF generation, well, for document generation, and then normal office suites, right? That's it. Let's jump straight into the live demo where we will look into Nintex K2 Five or Smart Starters. This is the first part of the series. We want to build it right with an Nintex MVP. We're going to build an automating part ordering system where we would like to generate a K2 Five application without code, modify that K2 Five generated forms, modify the workflow, see that we can add some custom integration into it, add in a QR barcode scanner, and then as well as see how the security and authorization works with these generated application, and then the Nintex and K2 Five reporting or analytics that is built into this, into the generation of these application. Okay. And then K2 Five makes use of three major components from their solution, and that's your K2 management section, your designer, and your workspace. So management is more to manage roles, categories, workflow rights, environmental fields, and so this is for your administrator of your K2 Five platform. Designer is where we will add custom development, design work, themes, those type of things that we will add into our solution. Workspace, this is the current workspace where your employees, users will actually work from. They have a normal dashboard. They will have a task list where they can see the latest tasks that is that is present for their workflow work. They will have forms, and then as well as some report structure. In workspace, we get to our app section. Nintex Smart Sorters was introduced and to make it easier to actually develop and design the applications without the knowledge of being a developer or having knowledge of any code at all. So the purpose of this demo is we want to generate applications and make sure it can work without any code. So there's a few, there's 3 types of applications that can be generated. These types are approval applications where multiple levels of approval, documents, or like expense, claims, apps, everything that needs to be approved an app can be generated for that. A survey questionnaire report application, and then list contribution collaboration applications, like documents. We want to have a discussion on document. This is your type of application. We also have the ability to install from a catalog. These are pre-built applications from Nintex itself. Just use this. Okay. So here you have a wide range of pre-built applications, Smart Sorter applications in the catalog. You'll see these are already defined, they're already built, they're already configured. These can be changed inside your designer, and you can still make some changes to them, but the structure and the configurations are already there. If you click on one, you can just normally install it, and you can also view some details around the app itself. Normal functionality of what the app is doing. For us, we want to start in building our own application. We want to build an approval application for parts that will be ordered. So we will jump directly into parts ordering, for approval application workflow. So first thing, you need to give your application a name. Let's do parts. So part ordering, what we want to achieve is we want to actually be able to order some parts, send it on for approval, and then generate a delivery slip that needs to go to a specific order. So here you have also some templates to make use of, and expense claim tracking, leave, document approval, a travel request. And when you select one of these templates, you'll get the opportunity to change some of before they get generated. So data sources, workflow positions, if you don't want a rework in or anything like that. So these are available for you. So let's create a blank one. So you will notice that there's a main data object. So this is your main data source that everything connects to. It will automatically create a reference for you, so your identifier of that application itself. Then we need to add some properties to it, like order date, those type of things that we want to capture. So let's create order date. Make this field required. So this will make the fields mandatory when it gets submitted, not necessary when it gets saved. So there's an option at the end that we can be able to save data for later years. So we will tick that box and just see how that gets generated from that thing. Use this field to visually identifier on the main page. Now, I would like to have an order date title, so I'll use that on the main page. This is a date. We can have date time. I think date time is fine. Let's add another one. That's also required, and let's add this visual identifier on the main page. This will be on your dashboard itself. This is text. This is mine. So we don't need to create things like created by who. Yeah. So if you want to create somebody that actually requested it, so for somebody else, then we can create that. So is it it's requested. So we can also, we probably need to add a department, right? So depart, and we can create lookups. So with lookups, you'll be able to identify the available options here. You will also, the app will also generate for you a lookup where you can actually go and change these lookups. So let's create, let's say IT, HR, and finance. I think that is fine for the normal order. So we will get to the details of each order where we want to add products to it. So I think let's step right into the next step. So here we need to choose which workflow, how we want to change, so how we want this workflow approval step to work. So we can have a one step, two step, one step with rework, or with two step with rework. So it's like two step with rework. Both approvers can send it into rework. It will go back to originator for it to rework. Of course, these can be changed in your designer, and you can add another step in if you really need to. We will be able to specify approvers if you want, and then we can manage that later, or we can allow the approvers to actually approve these, select their approvers. So on the data objects, this is where we want to add some more details to it. So we want to add definitely order details. We want to have at least one, of course, one record to it. So one product can be added. So we want to add in a product. Let's make that. And quantity of the product. Numeric. So let's keep it at whole numbers, but you have the options to create decimals. So we can add in, I would like to add in a value field, but when we do search for, later on we change that product to search from a drop-down from another source, we actually want to pre-populate those value for them and then get a proper total in the end, right? So the value, we can actually make it that cost time. Total cost for each row. Because you can add in more to your list view what you want to see more, who created these items, who modified them, or the app's reference. But it is linked, so you will see in the landing page. It's not necessary to show this, but if it requires, you can. You can also take away these things to the other side and not show them. So if you have like a product description, more fields to be captured, but you only want to show 4 or 5 in your list view. This is one, and then we need to add a delivery address line. We need one at least. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's great results. I'm just naming something, so and then we say postal guide. We keep it as text. Countries are different, so this one I didn't make read only. You can go back, you can edit that. Perfect. Details. So now we have a complete set of data that we want to capture. We have available options, like I said, to enable the draft, and we want users to be able to comment right after their approvals, or they've reworked something, they want to be able to add some comments. So let's enable this and select next. So ports ordering app will now be able to generate. Everything is configured, and let's see, generate. It takes a few minutes to generate. While that is generating, I would like us to go back and see how that actually gets generated from a management perspective. So on management itself, on the workflows where we review our workflows, these applications gets generated from your app wizard. So you will see that there is an instance. If it's not, yeah, there it is running. And these view flows, you will see that how this actually gets generated. So it also goes into specific request types. So you have inside these inside Nintex K2 Five permissions that needs to be allowed for a user to create apps. So if we look back into apps, you have an admin section. Under admin, You have two types of security, administrators and builder. So you need to be able, if you want to be able to build an application, you need to be part of this list. And if you're part of the administration, so which will be approving them, you need to be part of the administrator. Administrator can also build your applications. Available templates, like I discussed, you have submit for approval, send, survey, and then your app catalogs and your list collaboration. So these are all apps that have been generated, and then we can view this inside its view flow, how far this actually is from generating. Looks like it should be almost done, so we can. So there is our parts ordering application. It is completed. It is generated. So from all apps, we can launch this application. So let's launch it and see. So because I created this application, I'm by default administrator of it. So in this administration section, you also have reporting and where we will start a new request. On administration, this is where we can manage our countries and our departments. So these were our lookup fields. Right? If we had more, we would have a list of all of them. We can also, in the administration section, invite users who can use this application. So I can send through, I can invite administrator of the application, because I'm the administrator, and then as well as normal user. I can also, okay, so it's not showing all the application settings, but these application settings is like form names and things like that that will be grouped and show the value of that. You can also add this into your favorite section of your workspace. So I'll add this in. And then to navigate back, you can also use your apps, or you can just navigate through to the icon itself. So on this page, your landing page, you have your work list. So this is items that have started and is active in your work list. You have your draft items. So like I said, you save and when you want to save and rework those data, right? Your pending items, currently that is sent for approval, but it's waiting approval, and then your completed items itself. On the submit a new request, you'll see these are the fields that we wanted to capture. Order date, where we can select from a calendar control because we selected date. So for today, we have order title. Staff requested, and this is on the IT department. The other details, so we need to add the product in. So we will, what we want to change in, we want to go back and see, okay, we have these parts in our system. Let's change this later on to a picker control where they can select the product and then they can see how many quantities are actually left and costs to that specific item. So we can make this later on read only and then calculate the cost based on the quantity that was selected. So let's just say now, and we want one, and the cost is probably 1,000 rand. And total cost, of course, then will be 1,000, right? So there is one item added into the details. And then for delivery details, we want to add an address and say period for that. This is New Zealand and country is South Africa. And we have a code, a postal code of 4 digits, right? So there is our first delivery address for this motherboard. And the provers we want to create it for me. And so now if we save this to draw, you'll see that in our draw section, we have an application already created a reference for you. If we click on your reference, you can go and edit it again and then submit it for approval. So in our view flow of that solution, so the initial reviewer is me, so we should get a work list item. You'll see a work list, normal work list item, and we will be able to redirect, save this task, share it, or open the form. When we open the form, you'll see that there's some extra reporting data for you available, which shows the state of the workflow instance that is currently running. You can also view the view flow. If we add a comment in, it will automatically go to comments, and you can also add custom comments from your site. I'll select approve. And final approver. So let's approve this again so it can move to complete it. And there's our completed approved item. So let's move back into that is exactly how you can generate a full-fledged application. It's about a few minutes, right? 20 minutes or so to generate a full-fledged application. Of course, this can be done for leave, expenses, anything that you want. As long as your data structure is predefined and set, you can generate an application with no code at all. You haven't changed anything. So yeah. Let's jump back into Designer. Inside Designer, we have your criteria that you generated your apps, right? So under Apps section and K2, you will find that sent for approval, we have one solution there, which is developer satisfaction, and then our submit for approval applications. Just refresh this category. So here is our solution that we've just generated. So K2 is already following all governance rules to ensure that your structure is correct from your naming conventions and the structure itself. So they have identified and changed the name for your friendly name to see exactly, to understand exactly what the form of view or smart object is. And then, of course, your system names are defined in a proper structure, so from the K2 generated itself. So from Nintex K2 Five, Your smart objects, the data that gets stored is in a Smartbox smart object, which is in the K2 database itself. Your complete data structure and data storage and table and everything gets created by K2 with the smart object. And then data then gets communicated to the views and to the item views and list and item views and editable list views. And then of course you'll display it on your form itself. So a form can contain multiple views, but you can't use a form inside a form. You need to use a subform for that. We also have a workflow section, so you'll see that it's in its own criteria, but you have your workflow as well that you can edit. So let's start by editing this workflow. So once an app is generated, and we have completely configured your application itself, and we want to add another steps in, or you want to transfer data, you can always keep your data inside your Smartbox smart object and initiate these data to, let's say, SharePoint or any other integration point that you want the data to live in. Or you can just go and change your smart objects to actually change it to the specific data source that you needed. So these are just references created. So you'll see here inside, these are the references directly from the forms itself, your data assigned to your workflow. And then the initial steps, workflows, and then of course, if there was a rework. Mail events that will be sent out once it is approved and declined or cancelled. So if you need to add in another step, you will have the options you have an option to actually create another task in if you want to add another approver in, or configure them as well. So in your site, your first approver, you'll have the ability to change the steps. You can only approve it and not reject it. You can remove that step if you really want to. And you can also define its custom email event if you need to. These email events can be full-fledged HTML or just normal text. You have the fields available from the approver itself and the workplace item. So you have fields, references, extra functions, conversions, and everything available to you to make. So let's say you want to add in the total of the approval costs. So let's add in the total of order. So we will because we don't have that specified yet in the main object reference. So let's do so we need to go and look for the values, right? So in our apps, we will get the data source from our ordering system, smart objects, and we have order details. So from order details, we want to get a list back. we want to filter the data based on the parts ordering ID, which we will get from our good that we have in our solution that was sent through. And then we want to create a reference for that. So that's our order details reference. So all orders will now be inside a reference inside on the side here. You'll see order details. So in our main event, we go back. And we will just sum up all the costs. Let's look through each one of those items. So we can also add them, count them together, make a for each loop, go through each individual item, add them into a list, and then add them through. That will also work. That's it. If we want to deploy the new version of this workflow, we can just press on deploy. Deployment successful, and now workflow can be closed. That's how easy it is to actually change something inside a K2 workflow. Anything that you require another step, anything is possible. Inside the forms itself, let's have a look into on the design of a form. So here is our main form that we currently saw. This is our landing page. So you will see that you have complete access to other views itself. So you can just open them, and you will also have all the rules that gets executed and by generating for each of these buttons, right? So both view level rules and form level rules is available for you to edit and change. So add in, let's say, a validation message or anything like that. So you'll see that this is your rules. So these are outbound rules, and so these are app settings, and then state another rule. But nothing needs to change here unless you really want to change how that interaction is currently working through your app. You can see also from a form level if a view level rule gets executed, but there is something on a form, there will be an add symbol onto that form rule, view rule, and then you will see that there is something that it gets executed from a form level. These are view level rules, so you won't be able to edit them. You need to go into the view itself. From a view level perspective, you won't see your form rules at all. So this is our, this was the subform for delivery. What I would like to add in actually is inside this item view if we could add in on the bottom maybe a QR link to this item, to this auto-generated. So once things are populated through the address and the country, the postal code, everything is added in to generate actually a QR code. So what we can do is we can also use the reference that gets created. So there's multiple ways to do that. How I'm normally generating QR codes is I'm using an API. So open that. So on an API, this is an open source API. You can also use the methods from it and create a service instance and have some custom integration if you really want to, but you can also run this in a content control and generate your data based on that. So if we add in the reference number for delivery in here, we will be able to generate a QR code. So let's go back to designer. So we have this, and so let's create a extra view. We will add in a content control. Then what we want to do is we want to add in a parameter for that view, which says reference number to that order. Let's we should add a button to say generate. Yeah, we have that. So to access the rules of this button, you can go to rules and add a rule, and then it will automatically add in the control that is clicked. You can also navigate directly to rules and say add a rule, and then you need to go and specify the event. The event. So we want the control that is on the view itself. So we want to select the control and its click event. And then we want to transfer data. So on transfer data, sorry, we want to populate a set the controls property, and that's the content control. And we want to set its URL. So we will take the current URL and add in the reference number. So that will be able, that view then is then created. So you can use that view now inside your inside a control, or call that view inside a sub view or anything to make it actually show. So inside your details, sorry. It's not there. Let's just navigate to this one and see exactly which view it is, but I'd like to add a control in. We can add in a toolbar button here. Here, there. And we want to open a subview. And want the rules to be wait. Will be its reference number. We can actually test this. We should have one at least. Sorry. And this is the completed one. So we should have one address here. We generate, and we can generate a QR code. So basically, when we do PDF generations in our next session, we build it right. We will go in and document generate whatever we've built now, right? So we're going to use the Nintex Platform Workflow Cloud instance, and we're actually going to draw up a document based on what we have captured, right? So, and then what we want is for the driver to actually have scan its code and then see the code that is generated here, and it needs to go to that specific delivery address and give him the details based on the QR code that got scanned. So we will modify this a bit, add some styling to it, put it into the solution properly, and then generate a PDF, which will be used as the delivery where they need to go to the label for that delivery. So basically, that's it for Build It Right. For Nintex Workflow K2 Cloud, Smart App Starter. Okay, I see there is one. There's two questions. I think we have time. Do we have time? So sorry, Ashley, I don't know actually if we have time.
So I think we just got the two questions. I think we are running a little bit over time at the moment. Let's follow up with those people directly after the call. We could also address them in part 2 of the webinar also, which I'm very much looking forward to seeing, by the way. Everything you just shown is absolutely fantastic. Even being a long-term K2er myself, there were a couple of things in there that I didn't see, so really nice there. But for now, yeah, let's just say thank you to everyone, and looking forward to seeing part 2.
And thank you. Thanks everyone for joining the session. Hope to see you in the Build It Right part 2. Looking forward to it, and thanks for the opportunity. Thank you. Bye.